Whiteside County. We've got Heather and Dave in studio with us. I understand Heather's going to be doing a little more talking this time around. Is that right, Heather?
Yeah.
All right, very good. Let's get started with our subjects. Migration news, birds and insects.
Yeah, if you've been outside lately, you've been noticing there's a lot of butterflies moving through. The monarchs are starting to migrate. About 3 weeks ago, there was a huge migration of yellow and black swallowtails, and it was just incredible. There was one patch of a native plant called Joe Pieweed we were working on over by Fulton, and easily there was 100 to 200 butterflies on it every day for about a straight week. So it was, just a rainbow of yellows and blacks and oranges coming through.
Well, that's good news, isn't it?
It is. Hopefully, they find a nice spot when they head south and, come up back north next spring, too. So we'll see what happens. So far, so good.
What about our feathered friends?
The teal will be, the blue-winged teal will be coming through real quick. And for those guys on the river, that's an important hunting season. Hummingbirds are filling up on food as fast as they can right now. So they'll be moving out here pretty quick, too. I was looking at your computer screen over there, and I see there's a chance of rain tonight. Yay, finally.
Yes.
And with a front like that, that brings a north wind, and that'll really spur on those smaller birds to head south. So if they catch a west or northwest to north wind tonight on that front, you're going to see some of those species leaving.
How important is it for them to have that tailwind?
Well, it saves a lot of energy, for one thing. A lot of birds migrate at night, so if they get a wind, they'll just keep flying. And that's that much less energy they have to use and that many fewer stops they have to make, too. So it's a great thing to get that wind, because once they go, they go. So.
Fall food plots and gardens.
Yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about the food plot program you guys got going on?
I have no idea.
The small seed? Are you done with that now?
We actually haven't received our seed yet.
Oh, okay.
We're working on that. We're still trying to wait on a grant.
Okay, but you're sold out as far as the seed, right?
We do have, I think, 4 packs of seed left. So if you want to stop in and get them, they're $30 a pack. It's just a variety of fall food plot mix.
Okay. Yeah, it's that time. Once again, rain is really important to that. Typically, I overseed my garden with turnip seed in the fall, and I've been kind of hesitant to do it quite yet. I did put some lettuce out. I got that to germinate. I got lucky. I hit it right after rain, but it's good. You don't have to do a lot of tillage with this, either on a food plot or in your garden. Basically, just a little bit of loose soil. Get soil to seed contact and either water it if you're in a garden or hope for rain if you're in a food plot. And the deer and turkeys will love that come fall. So good time to be doing it. Keep an eye on the forecast. You can get it in right before rain. So much the better.
Next up, we have fall anhydrous ammonia applications.
Right. This has been a really warm year, and I would caution folks that if they, after harvest, check the temperatures, especially the soil temperatures. If it's above 50 degrees, I'd really hesitate to put that anhydrous in. There's chemicals you can mix with the anhydrous to stabilize it that supposedly, keep the bacterial activity down so it doesn't get lost. But those warm soil temps really can cause a problem with nitrogen loss. And, talk to whoever your salespeople are. They're knowledgeable about this. See if you can get a stabilizer, and realizing that it is a little bit more expensive, but you'll save money and you get to keep nitrogen out of the Mississippi River, too. So
again, visiting with Dave and Heather from Whiteside County. Squirrel, dove, teal, and resident goose.
You want to take that one, Heather? Okay, let me talk about that.
So, Heather, which one are you going to cover? I see you got some circled there.
I can talk about duckweed. We've had some producers come in. They're worried about duckweed in their ponds. So for those that don't know, duckweed, it's a really small flowering plant that can just keep producing. One plant will start, and then you can have 17,000 plants in 2 weeks. So it'll completely take over your ponds. So you want to manually remove that. We also had fish sales, and someone came in and bought a bunch of grass carp, which will help keep that duckweed under control. So make sure you're staying on top of it because it's just going to spread.
All right.
One comment about duckweed, and she's right, it can be really a problem, especially this year with low water levels. And the amount of, in fact, I've heard of ponds already turning over, which is extremely early in the, in the fall to be doing. But what that does is it takes oxygen out of the water. And with low water levels and high temperatures, that could lead to some fall fish kills. So the one positive thing about duckweed is wood ducks love it. So if you have duckweed, I wouldn't kill it all. I usually don't like to see more than a third of the pond treated at any one time, especially with the conditions we're under right now. And if you can leave a little bit, if you've noticed wood ducks on the ponds, leave a little bit for them because they're going to be moving out here pretty quick too. They'll usually stick around until the end of October, but then they start moving too. The other name for wood ducks is a summer duck, and they like warm weather. And but duckweed is important in their diet, so if you can leave a little bit, that's fine. But Heather's right that you can't just let it overtake a pond because it'll block light. When the light gets blocked off, that's less oxygen being produced by the plants that are submerged in the water too.
All right, well, let's circle back to our
Sure.
squirrel, dove, teal, and
Yes.
resident geese.
If you guys have been listening over the years, you know I'm a squirrel hunter, and I haven't had a chance to get out as much as I normally do, which with the weather, it's not all bad. But squirrel season's opened, I believe, in Iowa and for sure in Illinois. Teal season in Illinois starts the 9th, and the blue wings will be coming through, and I have been seeing a few of them. There's not a lot around right now, but they'll be migrating here pretty quick. Dove season started the 1st in Illinois, and I did have a chance to go out and shoot a few doves. There's still a lot of birds in the area. They're very, very spooky right now, and like I said, with this front coming through tonight, they may be out in front of that front. So one of two things is going to happen. Either will there be no birds here tomorrow in this part of Illinois and Iowa, or there'll be birds coming down from Minnesota and Canada riding that front. So if you got a sunflower plot, or you have some winter wheat that was harvested and still not too green, good places to sit because you probably get some dove movement. But it's one of those things, this time of the year after the first week, it's always iffy, but you never know. If you hit that migration right, you could have a really good shoot.
So a dove is a migrating bird.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I didn't realize
Oh
that.
yeah, they'll move down. We get birds coming through that have been up in Ontario all summer. Minnesota, Wisconsin, northern Iowa, they will come through, and especially with that little front. You never know. So.
Apple picking time. To me, the apple trees that I've seen, it's going to be a good year for apples.
Some
of those trees look really weighted down.
Yeah, I work on a farm. It's got wild ones, and they're probably 75-year-old trees, and every one of those trees has apples on it, and they're big. It just must have been those trees. A lot of times when a tree gets under stress or a plant gets under stress, one of the things it does is produce seeds or offspring, just thinking it's going to die. And it was just an absolute perfect year for apples for some reason. And they're big, they're getting ripe. I would say if you got trees, check them real closely, and if you haven't picked yet, you're going to be picking pretty quick. So.
Yeah, and picking a lot.
Right.
Fly fishing opportunities.
Yeah, just my final thought here is that's something you don't hear about. You hear about fishing a lot since we got the Mississippi River in our backyards, but fly fishing doesn't get a lot of PR. And a lot of people think that it's kind of an elite sport or something like that, but it isn't. It's very easy. The equipment, you can pick up a good fly fishing outfit, everything you need for under $100. I started fly fishing when I was 8 years old. And I wasn't raised around trout or anything like that, but I had bluegills and bass around, and it's really fun to catch them on something like that. It's just a different type of fishing, and if you haven't tried it, give it a shot. Like I said, for under $100, you can outfit yourself, and it's very, very easy to learn how to do.
Is it primarily in a stream that you do this?
I fished in rivers. I fished a lot, I still fish a lot in ponds for bluegills and bass, but smallmouth bass are a blast to catch them on a fly rod. And a lot of times you'll get bass that are 12 inches or less, and they'll put up a fight like you'd think you were on the ocean fighting a sailfish or something. They'll jump, and it's just a really cool way to catch them. I think Heather's got a couple things now too.
Okay, Heather, jump on in.
So one thing we're talking about right now is cover crops. I know we've talked about it before, but right now the SWCD has a cost share program going on, so we can give landowners $40 an acre up to 80 acres. So if you want to get in on that, call the office because we're trying to promote that as much as possible. It's going to improve your soil quality, fertility. It's going to Just basically help your soil, which in turn is going to help your profit later. So make sure you stop into the office or give me a call and we'll get you signed up for your cover crops. Another thing that we have going on right now is our tree sale. So right now is the perfect time for your fall tree planting, so be planning what you want. And that deadline is September 15th. So on our Facebook page and our website, we have the fall tree sales. Make sure you stop in and get those ordered, and we'll help you out with that.
Do you get a lot of activity on your websites?
Our Facebook page seems to get a lot, and people seem to stop in from what they see, so that's been helping a lot.
Again, where are you located?
We're located in Morrison, right next to the Morrison Institute of Technology is our office.
Okay, MIT.
Yep.
Not to be confused with Massachusetts.
No,
Morrison
completely different.
Institute of Technology.
Yes.
So it looks like we got a couple of other points to talk about. Conservation Education Center.
Yeah, I've been working on that site now basically since I left the office, and we're getting to the point. There's going to be an announcement fairly quickly about some building that's going to be going on out there. We still have a little bit of habitat to be done. If you've been down Elston Road, you'll notice the prairie that's springing up. On the east side of the road, we've got more acres going on, and I'm working with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service on a wetland restoration on that chunk too. We're waiting for the gentleman to harvest the corn off of it that's on there, and then we're going to start in on some more habitat work over there. And if anybody's interested, if you call Heather, and she can get a hold of me, and we'll get them interested or get them involved. There's volunteer opportunities there. We're hoping to coordinate some school groups, as the school year gets going here too, with tours out there too.
And I see internship opportunities.
Yeah, right now, I just had a young guy in college from Fulton that's been working with me off and on for about a year. He just finished an internship with IDNR up in Wisconsin, but he's also been working with me, one for money, and two to learn the wildlife management side of things. I also have a senior from Fulton High School working with me too as a job shadow or an internship, whatever you want to call it, to learn about wildlife management too. In fact, if I wasn't leaving on vacation, he'd be working this next week with me. But that's been a fairly good thing. And I had a lady, that's been about 5 or 6 years ago now, who was a senior in high school, served an internship with me too. And it's basically a follow-up from that program where I got this young man working with me too.
How'd you get your start here?
I had people that took me hunting and fishing when I was young. And I just got interested, and I read a lot about it. And I just jumped in. I was lucky, though. I lived in a rural area similar to this, and there were people that were willing to take me under my wing. And I guess I feel guilty. I need to pay that back. And if I could help 2 or 3 people get started in a career and teach them the right way and how to do things, hey, so much the better.
Heather, how'd you get interested in this?
So I'm actually an animal science major, so this part of it's a little different for me, but I grew up right here in Whiteside County, so I guess just being a part of the county and the soil and water part of it just kind of goes together with the agriculture. So.
All right. Well, thank you both for coming in, and
sure. Thank
catch
you,
up
Gary.
with you in October.
Thank you.
Kevin Harlan here from Westwood One. Join me and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner from Arrow.